Hey everyone, Jessica, clinical psychologist for thepsychcollective.com, and I'm doing a schema therapy mode video today, and I'm going to do this one on the healthy adult. Now I want you to stay tuned because this one's actually going to be in two parts. So first of all, let's do a bit of a rundown of what do we mean by the healthy adult mode. So in terms of the function, the point of the healthy adult mode is to get the needs met for the person, but primarily you're targeting the vulnerable child, right? So it's around the mode that is kind of almost like the stage director for the rest of the other modes, and it has a particular way of interacting or a particular type of intervention that we incorporate the healthy adult mode for and apply it towards the rest of the modes. So for the vulnerable child mode, the healthy adult's role is to prioritize the vulnerable child and to use the skills around soothing and emotional validation. For the angry child, the healthy adult needs to let the angry child mode vent, maintain appropriate boundaries around behaviors with the attitude of it's perfectly okay for you to feel angry. It is not okay for you to hurt people or things when you're angry. We use the healthy adult mode to make choices around the application or use of the maladaptive coping modes. I've talked about this repeatedly. We don't necessarily get rid of all of the maladaptive coping modes because in slight occasions you may actually need to use them, but it needs to become the job of the healthy adult to choose when to bring a maladaptive coping mode in on limited occasions, and for most of the time put them on the bench. So your coping modes are going to want to jump in and kind of save the day. That's how they work. But it's that capacity for the healthy adult mode to go, no, I don't need you anymore. I don't need those maladaptive ways of coping with this. I'm going to start coping with this in healthy ways. Let me do this. I'm in charge now. For your parent modes, it's around negotiating with your demanding parent of, yes, thank you very much for trying to set really high standards so that I'm performing at my best, and your perfectionism is over the top. So you can back off now. And for your punitive parent mode, it's just get out, get lost, go away. We banish the punitive parent mode. For your happy child mode, it's about making sure that there is space and time for the happy child to play and to flourish throughout the ages. No matter how old we get, we still need to be connected with that happy child mode. And really, the point of the healthy adult is it's our adulting mode. It's the way that we actually kind of get through life as a functioning kind of human being, and our capacity to grow and learn and fail and then learn from the failures to grow some more and practice this. It's our capacity to engage in the world and have a relationship with ourselves, have a relationships with other people, and to know that no matter what, we still hold on to our inherent self-worth. Now, in terms of development, ideally, the healthy adult mode is something that you have learned through modeling from other healthy adults in your life who have taught you how to look after yourself, how to manage your self-talk, how to perceive your self-worth, how to manage your finances and make choices around nutrition and exercise and cope with interpersonal conflict and deal with stresses at work and all of those kind of life skills that we need to be able to do. But in terms of the barriers, the biggest one is going to be, if you didn't have healthy adults in your life growing up, you're not going to know how to do this one, because as much as we are born with a vulnerable child mode and we're born with angry child and happy child, we're not born with healthy adult. Healthy adult it's like a language that needs to be learned. And if your parents or your caregivers didn't have this language, then you're not going to innately know how to do this for yourself. This has to be learned. And that's where the role of kind of schema mode therapy comes in. And I'll talk about that one later because I'm going to do a good parent talk next. The other barriers in terms of utilizing or incorporating and starting to grow and strengthen this healthy adult mode is willfulness. Is probably one of the biggest barriers that I see with my patients of, I don't want to be a healthy adult. I don't want to fix my life. Therapy is hard and making changes is harder. And other people it's their fault that I'm like this, so they should come and fix this for me and I want to be rescued. So that willfulness is one of the biggest barriers I see for the healthy adult mode. For some people, there's secondary gain in staying sick because there's value in relying on other people to do the healthy stuff and looking after you for you, because because it means you don't have to take responsibility. Because being an adult is terrifying. I don't think I really appreciated that as a child, but the older we get, the more responsibility that we carry and the more kind of weight that rests on our shoulders. It's exhausting doing this healthy adult thing, but the alternative is to be an unhealthy adult, and in my opinion, the consequences of that are far worse. One of the other barriers we'll see is if people truly believe that they don't deserve to grow and develop and mature into healthy adult, if they're so stuck in their low self-esteem and low self-worth that they choose to continue engaging with their maladaptive coping modes, or they choose to continue listening to their punitive parent or demanding parent, because particularly with a punitive parent, it has such a hold on them that they can't imagine a life where it's not true. So when we say, let's start doing some healthy adult work, they're like, no, I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to speak to myself or treat myself as a healthy adult. So that's another barrier that I see. And then the last one I would see is probably more around a lack of discipline for people who want the healthy adult. They know that they need the healthy adult, but the idea of consistently working at developing their healthy adult mode, because it takes so much hard work and you've got to rewrite neural pathways and connections and learn new ways of behaving. When they don't have the consistency, they don't have the discipline to actually develop the healthy adult mode. So there's some of the main things that I see getting in the way. In terms of awareness of the healthy adult mode, how would you actually know if you are in healthy adult mode? Because some of my patients will seem to accidentally stumble into it, and then they'll come into therapy and I'm like, that was healthy adult. They're like, really? Is that what this feels like? So in terms of the awareness, it comes down to, are you making skillful choices that are recovery focused, that aren't going to have negative consequences later, to the best of your ability to forecast negative consequences? I'm not asking you to use your crystal ball here, but reasonably, can you kind of predict whether or not there's going to be fallout from this, or are you actually making a reasonable choice that is likely to lead to a good outcome? So in terms of what that looks like, for the vulnerable child, the healthy adult needs to be able to kind of lean into your emotions. Instead of running away from your emotions, which is more kind of detached protector, a healthy adult would be leaning into their emotions, exploring it, approaching them with curiosity, trying to actually understand and using those skills and self-validation. Healthy adults would also learn to kind of develop their intuition and trust their intuition. From a DBT point of view, we might refer to this as wise mind. And so healthy adults are able to use their wise mind, which is that dialectic between emotional mind and rational mind. Having confidence in yourself, having trust in your ability to make choices that are in your best interest and not always be swayed by people pleasing or wanting to kind of do things for other people's approval or benefit. Around having stability across your sense of self, so your identity, who you are, what you like, what you do, what you don't like, what you don't want to do. And then that stability carrying forward through into stability in your relationship, stability in your capacity to maintain boundaries. And within that, stability in how you look after yourself, having some appropriate levels of self-care, knowing where to kind of balance the flexibility on. There are times where self-care needs to drop ever so slightly because there's this really big important task, and now that task has been completed, I'm picking up my self-care. And when other people say, oh, can you do this extra thing now as well, to go, no, I'm done. I need to take some time to look after myself. And that boundary setting is really appropriate. And then the last thing I think comes down to, particularly for my patients who have a trauma background, which if they're doing schema mode therapy is most of them, the capacity to respond to triggers with skillful utilization of strategies and kind of, okay, I know that if I go into this situation, it's likely to be difficult. These are the skills that I'm going to use in preparation for getting through that. And then after I get through that situation, then these are the skills I'm going to use to calm down. And we call that cope ahead within DBT, of that idea of you can kind of predict ahead and cope ahead, not catastrophize ahead, but the attitude of I'm going to get triggered because life can be triggering sometimes, and these are the skills that I'm going to use to deal with it. So that's kind of what a well-rounded kind of healthy adult would look like. So it really, if you put it in this metaphor of a stage director, right? So you imagine that you've got a stage and you've got all of your modes up there. And for many of my patients, the punitive parent is probably actually the one running the show, or their detached protector is the one running the show because they can't handle the punitive parent anymore. And it's kind of like that healthy adult kind of walks into the stage, rips the megaphone out of the punitive parent, says, right, I'm in charge now. And if you look at how you would actually kind of structure the characters or the modes on stage, vulnerable child goes front and center. And this is similar to the way that I've drawn that with that rainbow arch diagram, right? Vulnerable child front and center, angry child next to the vulnerable child just in case it's needed. Coping modes get benched. You can kind of go into the wings. I'll call you if I need you, but I'm probably not going to need you. Punitive parent, get out of my theatre. You're not welcome here anymore. Demanding parent, you sit in the corner of a timeout because you've been really harsh and critical, and I might need a little bit of your support later, but I don't need all of what you're giving me right now. So you're in a timeout. And then I just kind of picture this happy child just kind of skipping back and forth across the stage with the la 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 la's and just kind of having space to explore and play and flourish. And then you kind of just wait. Once you've got your characters in a position, then it's just, okay, we just wait for that next life event to come in and something kind of rolls up on stage and you're like, right, this is how I look after the vulnerable child. This is what angry child needs to do. Do I need a coping mode? Nah, I got this. This is how I'm going to make the decision about how I'm going to manage kind of these modes. And I'll kind of keep these ones out here where I need to, and I'll focus on my core ones in here because they're my priority. And you just deal with life coming through. Now that takes a heck of a lot of practice. And as I said at the beginning, if you don't have these sort of role models, if you don't have someone in your life that you can look up to as a healthy adult or kind of a good parent, then this is going to be harder for you. So I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to do the good parent talk next and understand where we utilize that good parent mode as a coach for the healthy adult. Now, in terms of the written information for this, if you are interested in getting the handout and the worksheets, and I've also actually made a framework for how you can plan out the healthy adult mode, head to the website, thepsychcollective.com, go to the resources tab, and under schema, there is now the complete set of worksheets, right? It's a paid resource for this one. It's 60-page PDF. You can download it immediately, and it will have all the information that you need in there for the healthy adult mode. Okay, that's all from me for now. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks very much, guys. See ya.